We are April and Scott, creators of NaughtyGym.com, and this is The Naughty Gym Show.
For years, we've been fitness and nutrition coaches to thousands of people through our commercial gyms and online platform. We've also spent nearly a decade in an ever-evolving open relationship.
This show brings together two of our biggest passions, fitness and sex positivity. Our mission is to maximize the physical and mental health of anyone brave enough to explore relationship structures that run counter to societal norms.
We have demolished our old ways of thinking about relationships, and from that rubble, built a life full of happiness, adventure, and vitality. And now we want to help you do the same.
So hop on the treadmill, start the show, and let us teach you how to never stop playing. Welcome back to the Naughty Gym Show. I'm your host, April, and this is the world's most patient man, Scott, my co-host.
Oh, I'm so excited about this episode today.
This is a good episode, I hope, anyways. But before we get into it, this is our last podcast of 2025, and 2025 can go suck a bag of dicks, respectfully. It was a very tough year for a lot of our loved ones. A lot of our dear friends had a tough year. Not the whole year was tough, but probably a good 6 months of it was pretty tough and trying.
And be better at being bad here in a week and a few days. Couldn't come soon enough. I'm ready to get 2025 behind us and kick off a new year. And if you are a good friend of ours, you are not allowed to have any emergencies in 2026.
Well, and I know you don't pay much attention to this, but I have been reading a lot about the Chinese zodiac because this is 2025 is the year of the snake, and we're moving into the year of the horse. So the year of the snake is like where you're shedding all and purging like everything that doesn't serve you anymore. And my Chinese zodiac is the horse. I'm a fire horse. And that sounded like I said fire whore.
And
anyways, and so I'm moving into my year. So get ready because there is some good stuff ahead.
What is my zodiac sign?
You're the rat. Remember, you're water. You're water and rat. Well, I'm
a water rat.
Yeah, I've saved some stuff I'll share with you. But if any of you out there are familiar with the Chinese zodiac, I think I align more with what I read in that than I do actually like zodiac signs.
All right. Well, let's move on from make-believe nonsense.
But anyways, we had a trying year. We had a good year. We had a lot of great things in 2025. I mean, the first few months, we had Be Better Being Bad in January, which was phenomenal. We had a month of travel. In February, we went to St. Pete. We went to Dallas. We went to Houston. We went in May to El Salvador. Well, Dallas again in April, El Salvador in May. And then I had a girls' trip in June to Mexico. And then the shit hit the fan. So thankfully we had taken the whole summer off for travel so we could be present, and your mom had hip replacement, which thankfully she is completely healed and back to her old self.
Some very good friends went through a lot of very not good stuff.
Yeah.
And while that was a difficult thing especially them, but it was tough on us too. Thankfully, like you said, we had that time. And while it was exhausting, I am so thankful that we could, in whatever way we were able to, be there for our friends.
Right. Yeah. That is the bright spot of 2025, that we were able to be present the way that we wanted to and show up. And we did a lot of self-work on ourselves this year. We're writing the book Wild Love Theory, and you can't do that without doing self-work.
Yeah,
it just comes along with it. So we really did a deep dive into self-discovery.
Honestly, I've seen more. I think I'm right when I say I have seen more growth from you in the past year than possibly the previous 9.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's completely fair, but that's meant to be a praise. Like, wow, you've been incredible this year.
Well, I feel that. I thank you. I appreciate you noticing that. And you as well. And what we'll talk about today will kind of highlight some of the growth that we've gone through.
We're going to start with maybe the 2025 low light for me. And I was not going to tell this story.
Before we do, can we just take a quick commercial break? And I want to let everybody know it's not too late to book Be Better at Being Bad January 3rd through the 10th at Hedonism Resort in Jamaica. There's a few rooms left. And then we will be in the Smoky Mountains, April 15th through the 19th for our Wild Love Theory Couples Retreat. And that is booking up really fast. And we are doing that with Expansive Connection Coaching.
And everybody that comes to that gets the first copies ever of the book.
Yep. And then we have in September, which we have not released registration for that. We will do that as soon as we get back from Jamaica. That is in September, again, in the Smoky Mountains. And we will also have Expansive Connection there. That's a religion and non-monogamy retreat for people, anybody that wants to reconcile non-monogamy with religion or your spiritual beliefs, or if you're deconstructing and sometimes you can feel like an island when you're doing that. Then our next one is August 14th through the 21st. Should I pause?
No. Sorry, I had to drop my heavy sweatpants because it's 100 degrees in here.
August 14th through the 21st in Barcelona, Spain. And we only have 4 spots left for that. Wow. That's a adventure in Barcelona with us. And then in October, 14th through the 21st. No, I got that wrong.
That's Barcelona.
7th through...
It's October. Go to our website if you want to go to El Salvador with us. It's incredible.
It's a lot to remember.
Yeah. And after the first of the year, not only will we be adding that the monogamy and religion retreat, but we'll put holidays back on the schedule and our men's Wild and Wise and Mancation Mountain back on there too. We just have been so swamped. We haven't had time to make the deposits on the places yet. Watch our website. Keep an eye on our social media. That stuff will get announced sometime after the first of the year.
And now back to the show.
All right. So we were going to do a full recap kind of podcast episode like we did a little bit last year. However, if you listen to our last episode, we talked about a party that we got invited to where we were dressed as Santa and Mrs. Claus. It was a big LGBTQ sex positive kind of party, and it was great fun. But the big thing that happened there is April met a guy. Well, we both met him, but April really hit it off with a guy. And long story short, they ended up deciding to go on a date together. This episode is about that date and how it went.
So we have a great little community here in North Alabama of lifestylers, and we love to go do fun things together. Like we went to Bingo Loco, we've gone to bars and hang out, just go to dinner. And so they all showed up, and one of our friends introduced me to her friend, this single guy.
And you guys end up deciding to go on a date. The date actually happened last night. This is today's the 20th. It was on the 22nd that the date happened. We're talking about it now. I did get the recap when you got home, but we're going to go through it kind of step by step today. But before we get to the date, we're going to talk about the lead up to it because there's a couple of important things. One is probably important. One is embarrassing. So I'm going to tell it, even though I'm not comfortable telling it.
So what's important to know if you haven't listened to the last episode is I have a real hard time finding not that I don't find great connections, chemistry, like that physical attraction and the fun attraction. And I can very easily talk myself out of anything. Like if I tell you I want to go to the movies tomorrow, probably I will talk myself out of it. And so I was very proud of myself, but also even more excited that I never really thought about canceling.
Okay, interesting. Because you did ask that question once, but we're going to get to why that happened.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the context here. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want us to spend most of the time talking about the actual date itself. But in the lead up, yes, typically you're trying to not talk about it so that you don't get in your head about it, which is why you prefer that you're not doing a lot of text messaging back and forth. And by a lot, I mean like kind of constantly all day, because that just keeps your mind on it. Plus, we're getting ready for Be Better at Being Bad. We've got a lot of stuff going on. And the guy did a great job of being funny and interesting, but not expecting or asking for you to be constantly messaging all day long.
Right.
So he probably gets an A+ on that, because that is
Absolutely.
not an easy line to walk when it comes to what you prefer, I guess.
Right.
So that was great. And everything was looking really good. Now, I did not intentionally try to derail anything, but about 3 days maybe prior to the actual date, first of all, I've been a little off. I'm usually very emotionally regulated. I don't get upset about much. I don't get depressed.
We have had an incredibly busy December, more so than normal, right? So, we have all kinds of family stuff, kids stuff, and we're getting ready for Be Better Being Bad. They were a little bit delayed because of the hurricane. And so we're kind of
the resort.
Yeah. Right. And so we were kind of having to scramble last minute and do a lot of things, but also it's the end of the year and we're business owners. So there's a lot of end of the year wrap up stuff to do. And we're also planning for 2026. And so we had a full schedule and
for about 6 weeks, I have not had any of my testosterone prescription that I've been taking. I've been on testosterone injections for close to 20 years. I mean, a long time. It's just a natural part of my daily routine. Now, I have been struggling. I now have VA benefits where they cover everything, but you have to jump through a few hoops. It's a little tougher to get your prescription, even though they pay for it. And there was a mix-up between my urologist and the VA. And long story short, for 6 weeks, I haven't had testosterone. Now, because I never have that happen typically, I didn't realize how much that low testosterone was affecting my mood. But I've had some moments of just basically...
Well, not just your mood, your sleep. You haven't been sleeping well, the way you recover, your motivation.
I haven't had the energy or the motivation to want to work out. Right. It's just been all real down. My libido's been low. Yeah. All of that kind of stuff. Now, which is not an ideal setup for your wife going out on what's really her first big, full, autonomous, in the wild date.
And really not even an excuse. You're not trying to make an excuse for what you're...
No, but I am setting the context for the embarrassing part that I'm about to tell. A couple of days before the date, I actually really upset one of our best female friends. And I was down in the dumps about it. I didn't say anything that I don't think was inappropriate or mean. I just set a boundary.
You had a tough conversation.
And I had a very tough conversation, and it really upset her. And
really upset.
I was really upset. Like, I had a pit in my stomach all day. I was thinking about it all day. This is also the day Alabama was going to play their first college football playoff game this year. This was this past Friday. They were playing Oklahoma, and I'm going to cut this real short. But I'd had a bad day leading up to that game. I went to the bedroom, was going to watch it by myself in there. I had a few shots of vodka, and I was ready for the game. I've never seen them be so bad. Ever. They were down 17-0 in what seemed like the first 3 minutes of the game. And I got so frustrated.
Just in a regular season game, for those of you that don't understand sports ball, a regular season game, if Alabama even looks like they're losing, Scott goes into a deep depression.
That is, I would
that's
say
true.
depression.
He turns into a different human. You just kind of know to leave him alone. He just does not like to see his team lose.
Well, so they're down. Not only were they down 17-0 in the first quarter, but they couldn't do anything. It looked awful. It was terrible. And as soon as that team scored and went up 17-0, I literally shut the TV off and I rolled over and I took 2 sleeping pills. Now, quick context on that. I had never
Those
had
are over-the-counter sleeping pills.
They're Unisom.
I
had never tried them until about a week before that. Another friend had recommended them. I went and tried them. I had tried them twice. 1 pill, one night. I didn't really seem to get much of a benefit out of it. I tried it again a few nights later. Didn't see much benefit. So this night, I'm now mad, angry.
And a little drunk.
And I'm thinking, well, 1 hadn't been doing anything. I'm going to take 2. All right. I still hadn't looked this up, but my guess is you're not supposed to mix Unisom and vodka.
No. And I was sitting in the other room with a friend and we were just talking, unaware of what was going on in the bedroom.
All right. So here's the embarrassing part. And I'm not proud of this. I spent the next 2 days with a pit in my stomach. I was mad at myself, but I was taking it out on everybody else because I was so moody. I apparently got out of bed And I didn't know this until you sent me a video of it the next morning. I walked out of the bedroom, down the hall, directly towards both of you, who had to watch me do that. I didn't have a shirt on, apparently, but I did have pants on. And I walked right up to the couch and I whipped my dick out. You immediately stood up, said, put your dick back in, and put it back in my pants.
Right.
Now, by the way, I just want to stress how out of character something like this is for me. Well, I've never done anything like this. Then I pulled my dick right back out, and you were like, what are you doing? Right. And you better not be about to. And all of a sudden I started peeing on our friend's couch. I didn't know any of this until I woke up the next
here's
morning.
The thing with Scott, it's hard. He doesn't drink a lot. And so when he does, I can never tell when he's drunk, but he does black out. And so he'll be
if I get enough,
happy Scott, like joking, and he'll still be happy joking Scott, but doesn't remember anything he does after a certain point. So I wasn't even sure what was really going on because I didn't know that you had been drinking. I didn't know until I put you to bed that you had taken those sleep aids.
Yeah, so then you and her presumably had to spend some time cleaning that ridiculous mess up. And I woke up that morning and you had put that video, texted me the video of that happening.
Okay. So I thought that he was kidding when he first came out of the bedroom because he whipped his dick out and I was like, babe, what are you doing? Put your dick away. I thought he was just like joking around because that's how he will get when he's a little bit drunk. But then I soon realized he was out of it, like totally. And I thought, well, maybe he's sleepwalking. Like I didn't know. And I was like, you better not pee. And at that point I was already recording him because he just looked goofy. And then as I'm recording him, he starts peeing on the couch. So I sent you that. And I was irritated. I was very irritated because you had also sent me a few text messages that were out of character.
Yeah.
And just not you. They were kind of irritable, text mean almost.
Yeah.
And I just didn't respond. I was like, he must be drunk. Alabama's losing. And that I can't even emphasize to people how out of character this was for you. And so I wasn't mad at you, but I was like, what the fuck? We need to figure out what's going on. And so I walked you back to bed and saw that there was a shot glass and your sleep aid on the nightstand. And so I took those, made sure you were back in bed and texted you that video because I knew you'd probably wake up before me and was like, this is from last night.
All right. So it was, I woke up and I was mortified and I spent the next 2 days with this pit in my stomach, just embarrassed. And I was moody. And there was a couple of times you said things to me over those 24 hour period. And I kind of, for me, I snapped at you. I mean, it may not have been horrible, but I was just moody and mad at myself, mad at the world. And the first thing I thought when I woke up and saw that video and as the wave of embarrassment's passing over me, I was like, oh my God, she's going to end up canceling this date. But I didn't want to say anything. And then I said something mouthy to you and we got into it. I thought, well, if she hadn't already decided to cancel it, she's for sure going to cancel it. But I wasn't bringing it up because I knew if I brought it up, it would just
let me tell you what I was thinking. I can't wait to go on my date and get out of this craziness. I was like, I just need to go have fun, not talk work, like be removed from this little circle here.
But to your credit, and this is a lot of the growth. Not only did you navigate my stupidity over 2 or 3 days, but you didn't let it stop you from going on the date. And I don't think that would have been possible a year ago.
Yeah, probably. I would have canceled because I thought I need to take care of these people. Like Scott's in a bad headspace. Obviously I did check in with you. Are you okay that I'm still going?
Yeah, right.
What I was telling myself was, this is not my responsibility. He's having a bad week. That has nothing to do with me. There's nothing I can do to fix it. We've had conversations. We're in a good place. You had apologized. I had forgiven you. I didn't think it was as big of a deal what had happened as you did because you were embarrassed, obviously. Yeah. I've been a 19-year-old drunk where I've peed in bushes. Never on somebody's couch, but...
And you were 19.
Right.
That's a little more excusable.
But it was bigger to you because you were feeling all the big feelings than it was to me. And truthfully, I really was excited to go spend some time with this guy and just kind of laugh and not think about anything heavy.
Well, so we'll move on from that. You went on the date. So
you also made me delete all videos.
Oh my God. Yeah. So don't send messages asking for it because they're gone. They're erased out of the trash can on the phone. They're gone. I erased it immediately off my phone. I was mortified. So tell me a little bit, just real quickly, as the week from the day that you guys decided to go to dinner to the day of the date, was there any excitement? Because typically you don't.
Was there any excitement?
Excitement, yeah. Because
of course there was excitement. There was a lot of excitement for this date from the time that I met him at the bar until I left going, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that he wasn't texting a lot. Him and I weren't texting a lot, which, we had such a busy week anyways. And the texting was very lighthearted and casual. It didn't go like super sexual and dick pics and nudes. And there was none of that. And that built my excitement up even more because I feel like if I'm going to meet somebody and they've already sent me all of the nudes and pictures of their dick and butthole and whatever else, like there's not really anything else to look forward to. So you've seen all of it and made some kind of judgment about it. I would rather leave something to the imagination. And that for me builds excitement.
And I could tell the difference this time between the other time you sort of had a date. You did seem more regulated and excited about this, which I was excited about. The night before the date, you asked me if after dinner tomorrow night we decide to go somewhere else, do you want me to text you? Mm-hmm. And I had to think about that one for a minute. And I finally said, no, I don't. And the reason I did that is because we've really been working hard on trying to create this sense of trust and autonomy between us. And I didn't want you to feel obligated to do anything. I wanted you to go on this date and go through it however you wanted to go through it. So how did you feel when I answered that way? Did that worry you, surprise you? What?
I mean, I was indifferent to it, I guess. I was just wanting to know what you wanted, if you were expecting a call. And of course, I did text when we left the first place to go to the second location. But I just wanted, you're my person. So of course I want to check in and do what you're comfortable with. This is a new thing for us. And so I want to make sure that I'm navigating it with respect and with kindness. And because I love you, if there is something that you're wanting, even though I know you're wanting to give me full autonomy, that can still be tough. And it's okay sometimes to be like, I want you to be able to go out on this date, but I would like for you to message me. Yeah. So it was fine with me either way.
Okay. So one of the things that happened that was kind of funny leading up to this is he proposed dinner and y'all picked the restaurant. Tell about how the idea came up of how you guys were going to dress.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't remember exactly, but we were texting back and forth and he said something like, is a tacky Christmas sweater okay to wear on a first date, asking for a friend or something like that. And I said, or ugly Christmas sweater. I said, the uglier, the better. And he said, do you want to do an ugly Christmas sweater date? And I said, of course. First of all, I fucking love Christmas. And I love being able to be silly and play. And I love somebody that doesn't take themselves too seriously. So I thought that was a fun spin on it. And when we got to the restaurant, it was a nicer restaurant. We were the only ones dressed like that. And he actually had a Santa hat on too, which was super cute. But there was people like the table next to us. The man asked his girlfriend to marry him. That's how people were dressed. We were in tacky Christmas sweaters. So I thought that was really cute.
Well, so I was fine all week long. I've actually been really good with this whole thing. I was excited for you, unlike the other couple times we've sort of done something like that where I was really in my head about it. But I did get my first little flutter, not bad, but a little bit, when you were getting ready and you finally called me back and said, hey, can you come back here real quick? I go back there and you were asking me which pair of jeans, but you'd already put one on and you said, well, how do I look? All right. It is just not something you're trained for growing up to give an evaluation of how hot your wife looks for her date with another man.
Right.
So, I was like, oh, you look great. I would stick with that. You look great. But that was my first little, ooh, that tickles a bit.
Well, I want to say this too. This is not a hot wife scenario. So there's a lot of men who do like to dress their wife up and like get them ready and have them wear a certain thing. And then they're recording the, everything. That is not what this is. This was a separate date.
Yeah. Right. I have yet, and I'm, maybe I'll get there, and I kind of hope I do, but throughout any of this, I've never been horny. Like, I've never been turned on by it.
Right.
I'm excited about it because I like to see you feeling the power of being your own person without regard to the feelings of others.
Right.
And so I get excited like that, but I haven't been turned on by it. So that was my first flutter. And then you leave, you kiss me goodbye, and which is also weird. Like, all right, baby, have fun with your other dude, and you leave. Were you at this point nervous?
I was, yeah. Driving there, I was nervous, just because. I mean, I haven't had a first date like this in, God, I couldn't tell you how long. I mean, my other dates were different. Like I had, first dates.
Yeah. You had a date with our best friend, and I went with and then you had a small.
But it was different.
Yeah.
And so it's been, 25 years since I've had a date like this, maybe longer. I was super nervous. Not that like, oh, is he going to like me? That kind of thing. But it's just like that giddy, nervous excitement.
Were y'all messaging on your way there?
Once or twice, because I don't text and drive.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, and I had messaged that I was going to be like 2 minutes late, and I said I'm going to be 2 minutes late according to the GPS. If you want to cancel, I totally understand. And he was like, I am notoriously or known for my punctuality. I don't remember what he said. I'm so bad at remembering these details. But I also told him that I was bringing my parents with me on the date. So he was fun because I could fuck with him because my parents are dead. So, and I do have a dark humor. That's how I get through most of life. But he didn't know that my parents were dead until I showed up. And then at one point I was like, I was tempted to bring their urns of ashes.
Oh my God.
Like, maybe that would have been too far.
Yeah. Well, you never know, you could have tried it. All right. So you get there, nice place. We've been there once. It's a great restaurant. You got there. I think it started dinner was at 6 and you were there for over 2 hours.
Yeah. So we were there for 2.5 hours. The waitress was wonderful. She asked why we were there and told us the couple behind us was about to get engaged, and then asked us what we were there for. He said, we're celebrating our 2nd anniversary. And she was like, oh my goodness. And he's like, no, just kidding. This is a first date. And so we had banter with her the whole time too. And I love that. I love when somebody is outgoing. They can talk to anybody. They, can joke with anybody. So again, he just has a very silly, playful spirit. And I appreciate that. But there was never in 2.5 hours, never an awkward moment, never a like weird silence. It was just easy conversation. He's kind of newer to the lifestyle right now and had some questions, but we kind of talked about our childhood and all kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, so the conversation was easy. At some point, was there any flirtation, like overt, like, okay, this is getting really fun and flirty?
Yeah. There's a couple times like we held hands across the table. We said flirty things to each other. Oh, he's just a cutie. Yeah. Yeah. And he's very tall. And I like that a lot.
Yeah. But didn't you make some joke about his height?
Well, no, I was explaining to him about, why we kind of do the lifestyle. I can't be your end all be all and vice versa. Like you can't ever be 6'6".
Yeah.
I can't be 5'1". And so it's nice to be able, we want each other to experience other people and other connections and other things. And this allows us to do that.
At this point, I have not gotten any messages from you, and I didn't expect any or think that you necessarily owed me a text. But at about 8:30, 8:40, I get my first text message from you. And it says, we're going back to his house for a drink.
Yeah.
And then shortly thereafter, you said, I think it said something like, "Are you okay?" or something like that. But so I'm sitting there on the couch with our girlfriend of ours. We're watching TV, and she knows all about it. And I read her that text. I said, "Uh-oh." She goes, "Did she message?" I said, "Yes." What'd it say? They're going back to his house for a cocktail. Now, in the 2.5 hours leading up to this, she had kept continually checking in with me. "How you doing? How you feeling?" That kind of thing. And I was totally fine. I was great. I was excited. That was my second flutter. Was when you sent the message that you're going back to their house, and she kind of looked at me and she goes, "How you feeling now, big boy?" And she started kind of needling me a bit, which kind of helped.
Yeah.
But I kind of knew that, all right, I know you well enough to know that you would have said yes to go to another bar with a guy you were kind of on the fence about, but you would not have said, I didn't think, yes to go into somebody's house that you weren't.
Well, and I sent you his address because I just for safety concerns, like I wouldn't, but I mean, you have me on Life 360, but I wouldn't want to go to a guy's house without somebody knowing where I was at.
Yeah.
And so, it was about a 10-minute drive to his house. We went in, he had music going. We have very similar music taste. And so we talked music for a while, just kind of, little cutie flirty stuff. And then we kissed. And he's a great kisser. And then things just went from there.
Yeah, which is how you started to tell me this story last night. And so I had to start pulling questions out to get more details. But who initiated the first kiss?
Maybe him. It could have just been both of us.
But how did that happen? Like, why were you standing?
We were standing up. Yeah, we were standing up. And he's tall. And so like he can just like wrap me up. And so, we kind of kissed a little bit and we would talk some more and laugh. And we did a lot of laughing. My cheeks are sore today from laughing. But yeah, so we made out, kissed. He smelled really good.
Yeah.
I'm not going into the sexual details.
Right.
That's what you're trying to get.
No. I'm not.
But we did have sex and it was great. It was phenomenal. And
that hasn't always been the case, right? In lifestyle situations.
At one point we were kissing and I think I said something like, "Oh, we need to slow down." And I started to get into my head like I used to, that, I started thinking about like, should I do this? Like, I don't know if, should I say I don't have sex on the first date? Which, I mean, doesn't even make sense. Like, I'm a grown woman. If I want to have sex on a first date, I'm going to have sex on a first date. And so I snapped myself out of it. I'm like, I'm just going to let go. I'm going to be present and I'm going to do what I want to do. And that felt really good I love you, but I was not thinking about you. I was just being present and doing what felt good to me and to my body and paying attention to my partner who is in front of me.
Yeah. Is that something that you think has, I don't know if to say it's been a problem, but in the past when you've never really done anything much separately, but have you always felt like you've been concerned about me or thinking about me?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And would you say that was the first time you've ever been able to stop doing that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was the first time I intentionally chose not to allow myself to let go and just do what felt good in that moment.
Because that's big, because I don't think that has been just an issue for you that you felt, you've almost felt guilty, I would imagine, if you didn't think about me.
Right. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's not just been the last 10 years. It's been my previous marriage. So the last 27 years where I'm constantly thinking of everybody else and the consequences. If I do this, then what? If I allow this to happen, then what? And last night I was just like, fuck it. enjoying this. He's super attractive. We have a good time together, and I'm going to let go.
And that may sound to some people a little crazy. Like, why is that hard? Your husband's giving you a hall pass, essentially. Well, I don't even like the phrase hall pass.
Yeah,
you chose to go on a date.
Yeah.
But people think, well, that's awesome. How hard could that be? You're going, just go do it. But for somebody that's been a mother and expected to tend to the household and take care of everybody else and kind of a people pleaser at times, it's not easy to just shut all of that out and say, I'm here for me and me only.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't easy. And I was super proud of myself. And I really was able to, I think, enjoy it and experience pleasure in a easier way.
Do you think that is 100% because of your growth? Or do you think that at least some of that is because it was just you and him alone and there were no distractions?
Well, I can't answer that because we haven't had any other instances where it's all like us with other people in a very long time. But I would say probably a combination of both.
Yeah.
I have done a lot of growth this year. I have really worked on finding my autonomy, figuring out what my desires actually are, what feels good. Not just physically, but emotionally and mentally and relationally. I mean, we've had so many conversations like this aligns with me and this doesn't. And it really did feel good to be able to make that choice on my own in that moment.
Well, yeah, because and we talked about this a little bit in the last episode. It has been a year since I presented the original idea behind Wild Love Theory to you live on a podcast, and you knew nothing about it until that podcast. And that didn't go well.
Right.
You didn't like the surprise element of it. You really didn't you thought maybe there was some hidden agenda behind it.
Yeah.
And it has been a year. It's taken a year for you to get to this point. And that's been a lot. I mean, I don't know if you'd asked me 6 months ago if we could be here at the end of the year, I would say, I don't think the trajectory looks like it's heading that way.
Right. I would have too. I would have too. And that's the thing about growth. It's slow and it's not always linear. Sometimes it looks like a spiral and you don't know that you've grown until you test it. I mean, this was a great opportunity for me to put into practical application what I have been working on and journaling and going to therapy for and reading and listening to podcasts about and all of the things.
Well, and I hate to do this to the guy that just railed my wife last night, but some credit has to go to him too, right? Because well, I mean, he was a nice guy and he was respectful and he's smart.
Absolutely.
And he, there's not a lot of guys that can get your attention and hold it very easily. Mm-hmm. And he did that. And he did it in a way that I felt like was respectful to you, which felt respectful to me.
Yeah. I agree.
So I was really happy that this happened. So you guys did end up having sex. It was really good, correct?
Yes.
That's the way you expressed it to me.
It's really good.
And then it's done. And again, I'm not asking you to say anything that you don't feel comfortable with, but I am curious how the time was spent after sex was over and before you left. What were the kinds of things you were talking about? Were you laying together in a bed? Or?
I mean, we laid together for a while, sat up, I kind of sat up in the bed and we were talking and I mean, he was playing music for me. We were talking about travel. We were talking about lifestyle events. We were talking about, jealousy in the lifestyle. We really talked about so much and asking each other questions. And he was, because he is not new to the lifestyle, but he had taken a hiatus and now he's back at it. But talking about the more connection focused things. And he told me that I was his actual first real date. He's gone to lifestyle events and been in groups and parties or just had maybe, and I don't know this for sure, but I think just sexual encounters.
Yeah.
But it was the first time that we went to dinner and he was and had conversations and it wasn't about the sex. And honestly, I went into this with zero expectations, which I was super proud of myself for. I didn't know if we were going to have sex, and that was okay with me. I didn't know how I would feel, but I also knew that if I wasn't feeling it, I could say, have a good night, had a great dinner, see you around, or we could, take it further.
Well, yeah, a lot of times when you say no expectations, I've always felt like, at least sometimes, and maybe most of the times, that has mostly meant I'm actually expecting to not have sex.
Right.
And you sort of block yourself emotionally because that helps you feel safe. Like, all right, I don't have to worry. I can cut that out. I don't have to worry about it at this party. But you didn't do that this time.
Right.
You were open to whatever, it sounds like.
I was. Well, and there was I didn't feel any pressure from him. I didn't feel any expectations from him. We're having dinner together. And so now the next step is we have to have sex. I feel like that a lot in the lifestyle where, I'll be talking to a guy and I can feel that pull where they're pushing a little bit in that direction of we're having great conversation. You know what happens next? We're going to go to the bedroom. And I'm like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
And I felt none of that, zero of that. And that was so refreshing. And it really is disarming for me.
Yeah. I think for us, it has evolved into obviously being a case where us playing functions in a non-monogamous environment the same way it would have functioned for us in a monogamous environment when we were single. It's not just a booty call.
Right.
Maybe we can do that one day and start to enjoy it, but right now that's just not our thing. And he treated this like a real date.
Right.
It sounds like. Mm-hmm. And that's the way we think we're going to like it. And apparently it seemed like you liked it that way.
Yeah. I loved that. Yeah. It checked all the boxes. I have zero complaints. Like I was telling you last night, like I was just like, I couldn't stop smiling. And I have such a hard time recalling all of the details, and you're so detail oriented that I'm like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I can just tell you I had an amazing time. I would definitely like to see him again.
Well, that was something that I think a year ago would have bothered me. But first of all, you walked in at, I don't know, it was like
10:30,
11:30. No, it was later. It was after 11.
Okay.
It was 10:40 when you messaged me saying you're coming home. But you walked into the bedroom and it almost looked like your smile was touching each ear and you couldn't stop. Like you would keep looking over at me like sheepishly. And,
I know. I still can't.
And that felt good to me, but that was also another flutter.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What has been in this whole process the toughest part, or when have you felt those twinges of jealousy?
Well, I've outlined, or, I've said the ones that happened, but all the ones I've said so far were fairly minor. Mm-hmm. Up until that point, it felt remarkably comfortable for me. Really, the only time I started feeling strong, little stomach, whatever that is, jealousy or envy or whatever, was when you walked in and had that, just couldn't stop smiling. Yeah. Now, that still wasn't a big thing, but at some point you were like, all right, well, do you want me to tell you about it? And I said, yeah, I do. I want to hear all about it. And you go, okay. And I was in bed already.
Right.
You'd come to the bedroom and you kind of looked at me with this grin and you're like, well, I kind of need to take a shower first. That was another flutter. There was one I already knew you had sex. You hadn't told me that, but I knew it. But when you said that, I was like, oh, that one hit me pretty good. But it was also funny. So at the same time, I was experiencing compersion for what you were telling me, but I was also feeling that, I'm not used to this. This is not as easy as you might would think, but you did. You went and took a shower and you came in and then you laid down on top of me and you said, okay, where do you want me to start?
Yeah.
That was the hardest part, listening to you kind of go through what happened, because we're not going through details here, but you did go, pretty detailed, telling me what was happening. And you started with small details. Yeah. And kept smiling just like that. and eventually, I kept asking more questions and you got more detailed. And I think, to correct me if I'm wrong, some of your hesitancy where you just weren't sure what I wanted to hear and how comfortable I would be.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's like I said, I'll say it again. This is a new thing. I want to not that I only want to tell you what you want to hear, but I want to tell you what you're ready for and let you tell me when you're ready for more. Because I know how I am. You like to tell in great details. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I need you to cut back a little bit because I can't chew all of this right now. I'm going to take smaller bites. And so that's kind of how I was approaching this. What exactly do you want me to tell you and how much detail do you want me to give you? And because you're a details person, you're like, I want it all right now.
Well,
not like that. But
yeah, I didn't care for a minute by
you're
minute
right.
play
Well,
by
I
play.
couldn't have given you that if I wanted to.
But yeah, so you were just laid there. So here's my person laying on my chest, just came home from a date, outlining, in fairly good detail, exactly what happened with a sexual escapade with another man. And it wasn't
Not just a sexual escapade.
well, yeah, I know. I'm talking about that's.
Oh, yeah.
You had already before this part. You had already told
Yeah.
me about dinner and stuff before you went to the shower, and so yeah, that was not. I didn't expect that to be easy, and it wasn't. But it wasn't horribly difficult either.
Yeah.
But I was also at the same time experiencing that joy. I was seeing the smile and happiness.
Yeah.
That you were, and it was very manageable, and it felt right. It felt like, all right, this was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get better and better at managing my emotions. And I was just incredibly happy that you flipped that switch and said, I'm going to go do what I want to do tonight.
Yeah. And that being able to do that and share that moment with you when I got home made me so proud of you too, because I know how far you've come. I know how you felt that first time I went just to meet somebody for coffee. And as I was recounting the details, I kept checking in like, are you okay? You want me to keep going? And you're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling a little flutter, but I'm good. And just having the freedom to have that conversation with my person and share that with my person and know that you were genuinely happy with me was the best feeling. Like that to me was like, this is why we do the hard work for this. And I'm thankful for that. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the work that you've done to allow me to feel my autonomy. And I am working on that for you as well.
Yeah. And I believe that. And you have relaxed a lot of the things around me as well. And I can feel that change. And but yeah, I am excited for you. And I'm happy that I felt not once do I feel any like jealousy in the sense of, well, she got to go on this date. She better fucking let me go on one day. Yeah. I didn't feel that. I was just focused on trying to make sure I framed it all in my head as here is a woman you love experiencing a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And just because you're not there doesn't mean you can't be happy for her.
Right. Yeah.
And you said it a minute ago, right? You both agreed or talked about you'd like to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to do it again.
Okay. I do want to go back to one thing that I forgot. You asked me, how much of it was hard. At one point, this was after you were already at his house. I got done watching some movie and I started watching Titanic. I wasn't really watching Titanic. It was just background noise. I was working actually on the computer. And I was watching it periodically. I'd do some work, watch it, do some work. Well, at one point, and it's fine. I've seen this movie before. I wasn't even thinking about this. And all of a sudden, that scene where they go into that carriage in the storage of the ship.
Titanic, yeah.
Yeah, and they start to have sex. I happened to look up at the time where one of their hands pops up on the window of the fogged up carriage. And instantly I felt a little wet. I was like, oh, fuck, that's what she's doing right now. And so I was like, oh, what time is it?
It probably was what we were doing, but not in the car.
But no, because it was as soon as I looked away from the screen, because I didn't want to see this sex scene, I looked at my phone to see what time it was. It was 10:42. The minute I saw that it was 10:42, you texted. And and that kind of freaked me out. Picked the phone up and you said, I'm on my way home. And then I debated, like, should I call her? No, I just want to wait till she gets home. So
Well, and I debated too, should I call him? But I didn't want to, because I really, and it was probably, 35-minute drive home. I wanted that time to process. I didn't turn music on. I just kind of sat in silence and just kind of processed what I was feeling, and, kind of reflecting back on the night, things that had happened and how I handled it. And I have no bad feelings. I have no negative comments on the whole night. It was all a positive experience for me. And I even told you today, because I've texted with him just a little bit today, and you were like, well, how are you feeling today? I'm like, I don't have the it.
That's a big compliment, by the way.
It is a huge compliment, because I can talk myself in. If somebody doesn't have a red flag, I will make one.
You can have, it seems like in the past you've had fun in a moment and then retroactively talked yourself out of believing that it was actually fun.
Right. But I have fun and then reflect back on it and go, well, this could have gone better. And had like such high expectations preset that nobody can meet those standards. So I just let all of that go. And, I still am glowing. And
good. Well, listen to the kind sir that took her out on this date.
Sir.
This has not been completely easy for me, but the fact that I met you the other night, I actually met him before you met him, but and the way you've treated her and the way she's been happy about this process, I have a lot of respect for that, and I'm thankful for it. So I'm glad this experience happened. I'm glad it happened with him. He seemed like a great guy.
Yeah.
And so the last question, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate your experience.
10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I have nothing bad to say about it. It was from beginning to end. It was fantastic. We laughed so much, even some during sex. I mean, we could it was fun. It was lighthearted. It wasn't, it was other things too, but, I like somebody that just doesn't take themselves too seriously. And he's incredibly intelligent, good conversationalist, thoughtful. So yeah, it was good. Sexy.
Well, good. I think it's a great way to end the year. It's a great, maybe last podcast episode for us. I'm proud of both of us, and I'm thankful for this life we get to lead together.
Yeah, I am too. We have come a long way in the 10 years that we've been together, and in the 5 years since we started Naughty Gym. It'll be going on 5 years. And so we just want to thank all of you for listening today. And we want to thank all of you for tuning into the podcast, being part of our Naughty Gym online community, traveling with us, going on adventures with us, being our friends, being our supporters. And we are always looking for ways to support you as well.
I would like to say, if you would like to give us a gift, we don't want money. We would love for you to stop right now and click like or subscribe on YouTube, or give us a 5-star review on one of the whatever podcast platform,
Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts,
and leave a review. You have no idea how that 60 seconds of your life helps our podcast grow, helps us, spread the word about what we're doing. We would truly appreciate it. So if you've got a minute, take the time to do that. That would be a great gift for both of us.
Yes. And one more announcement. On January 12th, we are kicking off a 4-week fitness and nutrition challenge. It is based on sleep, eating, movement, and mindset. And it's free for all of our Naughty Gym members who are already in our online platform at www.naughtygym.com. If you're not a member yet, go ahead and join. We start January 12th because fuck New Year's resolutions. And this is the big focus of this is JOMO. which I don't think I made that up, but it's the joy of missing out, which means not feeling bad anymore for missing out or canceling events or taking care of yourself. So my big focus for 2026 is joy and finding joy where I can find joy and creating joy where I can create joy. And so that's going to be the theme of this challenge. And again, January 12th, go to naughtygym.com, sign up to be a member today. And the 4-week challenge will kick off January 12th.
All right. Well, baby, I'm proud of you. I love you. And I'm just ready for 2026.
I love you too. All right, guys, remember to never stop playing.